Before we get on to the video, do me a favor and hit the like button, it greatly helps out the channel. Now back to the video. Min took off Lily's mask, and the mask fell to the ground. As soon as the mask was taken off, there was a big poof, and Lily was transformed into a cat. This left Min in a daze. He stared at his hands with a confused look on his face. Changsu was also surprised. He questioned if Lily wasn't a person. Lim made his way over and he picked up the mask, and with a calm expression he picked Lily up, and he placed the mask on her face. He told her to calm down, and he expressed that they made a mistake because they didn't know. Then he glared at Min, and he expressed that the Mayo people are very ashamed to show their faces to humans, which is why they always wear masks when they are with him. Lim prepared this with Lily just in case something like this happened. The cat mask changes the wearer's voice, but if the mask is removed, a magic spell is cast that turns the wearer into a cat. Lim continued to glare at Min, and he wondered what Min would do now that his deduction was wrong. Kim approached Min with an angry aura about him, and he demanded that Min apologize right now. Min was embarrassed. He approached Lily and with a pleasant smile, he apologized for taking off her mask without permission. Lily, who was still in cat form, acted like a cat. She meowed and did her best to try and scratch Min's face. Lim was happy that his plan was going according to plan, and he made a mental note that Lily was pretty good at acting like a cat. The next day, Kim declared a state of emergency on television and radio. There was some confusion after the announcement, but all the citizens adapted quickly. The military, police, hunters, and guilds immediately began large-scale military exercises. The scene then shifts to inside a dining hall, and we see Lily and Lim enjoying a meal. Sang-wook entered the dining hall, and he told Lim that he heard a rumor that he and Lily were leaving today. Lim told him that it wasn't a rumor. He explained that they have to go back in a few hours because the dimensional transfer magic was running out. Sang-wook then asked Lim if he could do him a small favor before they left. Lim, with a pleasant smile, replied saying he would be happy to help as long as it's within his power. Sang-wook turned Lim's attention to some bookshelves, and he told him that these were the books obtained as loot during the restoration of the country. He then asked Lim if he could take a look at them. Lim was left speechless, seeing that Sang-wook expressed that he knows Lim is short on time, so he just wanted him to take a quick look to see if there were any important books. Lim got up from his chair. He told Sang-wook that he will do his best even though he is not well informed. Lim started making his way through the bookshelves, and he scanned the books with his eyes. He can speak any language, but as of now he can only read the language of the Gaia continent and the martial world. And even then he is only good at reading about magic and martial arts. As he made his way through the bookshelves reading the titles of the books, one caught his attention. The Sword Emperor's Records. Lim couldn't believe it. He quickly grabbed the book off the bookshelf, and he started reading through it. The first paragraph of the book read, "I'm Nanggong Yuxu, the Sword Emperor. In the martial world, I am known as the Incarnation." Lim confirmed that the language is correct. This made him question if this really was a book left by the Sword Emperor. Lim's face while reading the book concerned Sang-wook. He approached Lim questioning if something was wrong with the book. Lim wasn't sure if the book was real, but he wanted to take it back to the lake so he could take a closer look. He turned to Sang-wook, and with a serious expression on his face he told Sang-wook that it looks like the book was written by a demon. Sang-wook couldn't believe what he was hearing, but before he could get his bearings, Lim asked him if there was anything else with the book when it was found. Something like a sword. He expressed that if the book was found with a sword, then that sword will have a demon inside it, and it will control the will of the one who wields it, and harm people. Sang-wook quickly started looking through the records on his phone to check if anything was found with the book. Lim was hoping that the Emperor's heavenly sword was also found with the book, but much to his disappointment, Sang-wook informed him that the sword was not there. It is said that only the book and some old clothes were found in the collapsed cave. This ticked Lim off, but he put on an act, and he expressed that it's for the good of the public the sword was not found. Lim put the book in his garments, and he told Sang-wook that since this book is dangerous, he will take it and seal it. And since Kim is busy, he asked Sang-wook to keep it a secret. After Sang-wook left, Lim started reading through the book. The book read, "I was born as a bastard of the Nanggong clan. I was born with the talent of martial arts bestowed by the heavens, but I was discriminated against for being a bastard. I couldn't even see the clan's ascending martial arts. After my mother passed away, I stole the clan's martial arts and elixir." Lim wasn't interested in this part of the book, so he started flipping through the pages. He already knew that the Sword Emperor became a master, then he lost to Tianma in the battle by a fraction of a second and disappeared. Lily had grown bored. She approached Lim questioning what he was doing. Lim turned to her, and he told her to play by herself for a while, so he can read the book until lunch. He told Lily that she could also read a book if she's that bored, but he asked her not to disturb him. Lily bolted out of the room in a fury, and as she was exiting, Lim told her to return before lunchtime if she was going out. After she left, Lim used his newfound silence to continue reading the book. However, he was starting to get annoyed, because so far it was all about the Sword Emperor's life. Lim started flipping through the pages again, and he came across a page that talked about a martial art that can break through the heavens, a martial art which contained the true teachings of the sect. And the name of this martial art is the heaven-piercing divine art. Lim read the page with a puzzled look on his face. He was sure he found the godly art of breaking the sky, but he questioned why there was so much nonsense attached to the teaching. Now that he has found the main part he was looking for, Lim decided to truly focus, and luckily the teachings were explained in a way that even a monkey can understand. And if somehow you couldn't understand, then you could always read it again. Lim placed the book down on the ground, and he decided to give the teachings a try. He sat cross-legged in a meditation pose, and he started flowing his mana through his mana circuits. The level of inner power can be divided into three main categories. The first is accumulation, how much internal energy is stored in your danshan. The second is stability, how stable the internal energy that is operated in the body. And finally emission, how quickly the internal energy is emitted to the outside. If the Diha teachings that Lim has mainly been focusing on only pursued stability, then the godly art of breaking the sky has a perfect harmony of the three aspects. It was truly a perfect peerless martial art. As he was practicing, Lim began to understand why martial artists in his previous life would stake their lives on ascending martial arts. Since he was exhausted, he decided to stop here with the teachings for today. He checked the time, and he realized that it had passed 12 already. This made him question why Lily wasn't back yet. Suddenly, he started hearing some commotion outside. He quickly opened the doors to the hall he was staying at, and he witnessed the beginnings of a gate opening. Suddenly, a minotaur appeared out of the gate, and it quickly turned to the workers. The minotaur swung its morning star weapon at the workers, and luckily Lim was able to use a shield to protect them in time. He quickly got in between the minotaur and the workers, and he told the workers to stay inside the barrier until other people arrive. He expressed to them that the magic would protect them. Afterwards, he turned towards the minotaur. He was excited to test out the power of the godly art of breaking the sky that he was practicing. The minotaur rushed at Lim, and Lim, who didn't want the workers to question his mage status, expressed out loud that if he used magic, the palace could collapse, so he will use his body to attack instead. The minotaur swung the morning star at Lim, but Lim was able to dodge. For a moment it seemed like Lim disappeared, and he reappeared above the minotaur with his staff lifted up in the air. He punched the minotaur, and he sent it flying backwards. Lim was taken aback, and as the minotaur rushed at him again, he questioned why it was so weak, and if this monster was really a minotaur. Again he dodged the minotaur's attack, and as the monster was looking for him in the sky, he appeared below it, and he charged up and delivered a punch to the minotaur's gut. Lim started grinning. It wasn't that the minotaur was weak, it's that he had gotten stronger. This motivated him to learn the other teachings of the godly art of breaking the sky quickly. He proceeded to use the minotaur as a punching bag, and a short while later Lily came in flying on a shield. She called out to Lim to get his attention, and after she was on the ground, Lim asked her where she was, and Lily explained that she was eating with her friend. This confused Lim, and he asked her if she really made a friend in that short time. Before Lily could reply, they were interrupted by the appearance of multiple minotaurs. Lim expressed that he didn't want to cause damage to the palace, but there were too many minotaurs that appeared. As Lim spoke, Lily realized that Lim was sending a signal for her to use her fire ability. Both Lim and Lily lifted their hands in the air, and Lim acted like he was casting a fire rain spell. The ability was activated, and it burnt the minotaurs to a crisp. Sangwook, who had arrived, and the other workers watched as the minotaurs were burning. The spell mesmerized them, and in that instant it was decided that in the distant future a statue of the great sage will be erected in the Gwangwamun Square. Sometime later we see Kim thanking Lim for doing them this favor. He expressed that he will never forget it. Lim told him that he only did what he should have done, and he asked him to do his best to stop the upcoming disaster. Kim motioned for the guard that was beside him to come. The guard approached, and he opened the briefcase he was carrying in his hand in front of Lim, revealing high-grade magic stones. Kim expressed that even though it's not much, he wanted Lim to accept this as their gratitude. Lim was shocked. He refused, saying he couldn't accept such a thing. However, Kim convinced him. He told Lim that they couldn't send him away after what he had done for them. Lim's mouth began to drool. He thanked Kim, and in his head he questioned how many high-grade magic stones were in the briefcase. After getting his act together, Lim expressed that they couldn't stay here any longer. He activated a shield below him and Lily. The shield appeared like a portal, and he told Kim and the others that they will be leaving now. Lily waved at Han Jai-hai, and she expressed that she hoped to see her again, and Han Jai-hai waved back with a pleasant smile on her face. And before they finally disappeared, disappeared. Lim expressed with a pleasant smile that he hopes they will stay safe. Sometime later they came home, and they started calling out to Suridyok. Lim called out questioning if Suridyok had taken care of the house, and Lily called out expressing that she had been craving the food Suridyok makes. Suridyok hurried out of a tent with tears running down his face. He asked Lim where he had been, and he expressed that something terrible had happened. Lim in a calm tone asked questions about what happened. Suridyok in a panicked tone told Lim that if all the rainbows floating in the sky disappear, a disaster will befall them, and the president informed the public that hundreds of gates will appear. Lim and Lily stared at each other and they started smiling and laughing. Confused, Suridyok questioned why they were laughing when the situation was so serious. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, then hit the like button.